What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Tuesday, September 12th, 2023, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now, it is 2:13 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some concerning information coming out of Europe. Apparently, on August the 24th, Russia fired missiles at a civilian cargo ship that was supposed to get grain from Ukraine. It was sitting in the port of Odessa, and it was going to get some grain from Ukraine and take it out and back to Africa. And so this is being confirmed by the government of the UK, that's Great Britain. And they put out this press release yesterday. New intelligence shows Russia's targeting of a cargo ship. So this is a civilian cargo ship that was going to Odessa to get grain. And while it was sitting there, Russia launched missiles at it, apparently 2 caliber cruise missiles, and apparently Ukraine's air defense protected that ship and intercepted the missiles. Let me read to you what the UK is saying. Intelligence shows that the Russian military targeted a cargo ship in the Black Sea with multiple missiles on August 24th. The missiles included 2 caliber missiles fired from a Black Sea Fleet missile carrier, were successfully shot down by Ukraine's forces on August the 24th. Intelligence shows that an intended target was a Liberian-flagged cargo ship berthed in the port. Okay, Liberian flagged. Okay, Liberia is in Africa. Okay, so this is very concerning, guys, and this is why the UK said that they were going to be providing fighter jet escorts for civilian cargo ships in the Black Sea. Okay, I covered that a few days ago. The UK recently announced that they're going to be providing armed escorts for cargo ships in the Black Sea. Okay, what happens if one of those escorts gets shot down by a Russian missile? Okay, are the gloves going to come off? Is this going to be a NATO versus Russia war? And I want to remind you guys that just a few weeks ago, the U.S. moved 3 B-2 stealth bombers to Iceland, which is huge because the U.S. officially only has 20 B-2 stealth bombers. So for them to move 3 to Iceland is huge. Okay, that basically positions our stealth bombers in the European theater in case they have to carry out strike missions on targets in Western Russia, like the Kola Peninsula, where Russia has 2/3 of their nuclear armed submarines, or maybe clandestine conventional strikes on Russian forces in Ukraine. So things are really escalating, guys. Okay, the UK is now conducting fighter jet escorts of civilian cargo ships, and Russia is launching missiles at these cargo ships. So the chances of something happening are absolutely huge. Okay, this is very, very concerning. And I want to just share some flight paths with you guys. We had a nuclear bomber in the air just about 2 or 3 hours ago, and it was flying over the Black Hills of South Dakota, and it actually got aerially refueled, and it also turned off its transponder. So I want to show you the flight paths of that. That was a B-1, and I know a lot of you guys say that B-1s are not nuclear capable anymore, but that's actually not true. They are still nuclear capable. We primarily have the B-2s and the B-52s, but we can also use the B-1s if we need to. And their home base is in Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota, which is right outside of the Black Hills. And before I continue with the breaking news, I wanted to mention the sponsor for today's video, which is National Gold Group. I'm a big believer in precious metals. As you guys probably know from watching my channel, we are living in some very perilous times. The economy is very unstable right now. There's talks of more COVID lockdowns occurring potentially this fall, which would have a catastrophic effect on our economy and on the global economy. Canada is already talking about locking down. The U.S. debt is up to $8 trillion. So things are not really looking good economically. 51% of Americans can't pay their credit card bills. Okay, so now's the time to invest in precious metals that should be a part of your preps. And National Gold Group has gold, silver, and platinum. And if you use the link in the description below this video, nypgold.com, you can get a free precious metals investor guide, or you can call them at 1-888-608-0809 and mention NYPrepper, and you'll get the best service from America's conservative precious metals leader, National Gold Group. So if you live in South Dakota, especially in Rapid City or the Black Hills area, just be aware that Ellsworth Air Force Base is a primary nuclear war target. Russia would definitely hit it with at least 1 or 2 surface burst nuclear warheads, which would generate a lot of fallout in the area. So if you live in the Black Hills region of South Dakota, make sure you have a basement in your house that you can go to, and make sure you have a good plan for surviving fallout. We currently have 2 U.S. government VIP planes in the air. One of them took off from D.C., one of them took off from Dallas. And the one that I'm most interested in is this one right here that took off from D.C., and it's currently over New Mexico. And this is a C-40B Clipper. And the C-40B is responsible for transporting our top generals and our government leaders. Okay, it's currently flying over Roswell, of all places. I don't know where this thing is going to land, but it made this huge loop here. Check this out. At first, I thought it was going to Colorado Springs, where the Doomsday Bunker is at NORAD. But it continued along, and now it's heading south towards Texas. Very weird. I'm going to monitor this for you guys, but there are some top government leaders on this plane, most likely. And then we have another VIP plane here going over Idaho right now. Here's the B-1 that was flying over Spearfish, South Dakota. Beautiful area. I've been there before. And here's a close-up shot. You can see it was just flying over the Black Hills basically all morning. And then this KC-46 Pegasus at some point earlier this afternoon flew up to the Black Hills and refueled this thing. And it disappeared from Flight Tracker around this time. So very interesting. Not sure if this is a training exercise or not. In the event of a nuclear war, or if there's some kind of a escalation, we would immediately scramble all of our bombers into the air, especially our most important ones, because we wouldn't want them to get hit with nukes, okay? Because it takes time for the pilots to get into the plane, start the plane, and take off. It's not, an instantaneous thing. So they would scramble these in the event of a nuclear war and try to get them in the air as fast as possible. They would only have like 15 to 30 minutes to do that. Maybe this was an exercise, probably that's what it was, but we've been seeing so many nuclear bombers and doomsday planes in the air for the last month. Every single day, some kind of doomsday plane or nuclear bomber or some kind of nuclear war plane. So things are definitely, pretty serious here. And here we have a Boeing C-40C, and this is another VIP plane that flew from Colorado Springs, which is where NORAD is. That's where we have Cheyenne Mountain, the Doomsday Bunker. It flew from there to D.C., and these planes carry Congress, okay, senators, congressmen, all right? So it's very possible that maybe they were at the bunker for a period of time, and then they went back from the bunker. Maybe the threat was gone or something, or maybe they were just checking out NORAD HQ for whatever reason. I have no idea. We really don't know why they would be doing this, but it is pretty unusual to see that. And here we have a presidential doomsday plane that landed in D.C. last night, and I don't know where it came from. It probably had its transponder off. It looks like it was coming from Alaska or Canada, but it had its transponder on near Vancouver in British Columbia, and then it flew across the country and landed in DC. So I don't know where this plane came from, if it was in Asia, if it was in Alaska, I have no idea, but pretty interesting there. And we have this massive NATO exercise that's going to begin in the springtime. This is the largest military exercise since the Cold War, and it's all over the news, guys. Let me just show you. If you just type in NATO exercise in Google, look at all of these. Look at all of these websites here. Absolutely insane. NATO preparing largest military exercise since the Cold War. Major NATO exercises begin in Baltic Sea, rehearsing potential Russian attack. NATO to launch biggest military exercise since the Cold War. So let me read to you a little bit about this. Apparently 41,000 troops are going to be taking part in this exercise. This is coming from the Financial Times. NATO is preparing its biggest live joint command exercise since the Cold War next year, assembling more than 40,000 troops to practice how the alliance would attempt to repel Russian aggression against one of its members. The Steadfast Defender exercise comes as part of NATO's rapid push to transform from crisis response to a warfighting alliance prompted by the invasion of Ukraine. It will start in spring next year and is expected to involve around 500 and 700 air combat missions, more than 50 ships, and about 41,000 troops. Okay, so that's huge, guys. Between 500 and 700 air combat missions, more than 50 ships, and 41,000 troops. Okay, it is designed to model potential maneuvers against an enemy modeled on a coalition led by Russia named Ocasys for the purposes of the drill. The exercise is also a first in terms of technical capability, using real-world geographical data to create more realistic scenarios for troops. So absolutely huge, guys. This is going to be a drill with a fictional enemy, which is a coalition led by Russia. The drill will take place across Germany, Poland, and the Baltics in February and March, and forms part of a new training strategy that will see the military alliance carry out 2 big exercises every year instead of 1. NATO will also train to counter terrorist threats outside its immediate borders. Okay, so they're doubling the amount of training they're doing every year. That's huge. Okay, 50 warships, 500 to 700 combat sorties, 41,000 troops. That is just absolutely insane, guys. So things are just continuing to escalate. And I want to show you guys something interesting. They actually did this exercise 2 years ago in 2021. And that was literally just a few months before Russia announced that they were going to invade Ukraine. Okay. So they finished the exercise in May of 2021. And then just like 8 months later, in February 2022, they invaded Ukraine. Russia invaded Ukraine. So I don't know if, this upcoming exercise is training for potential war with Russia in 2024 or 2025. But they obviously know something, and that's why they're training. Okay. So 40,000 troops, guys. Absolutely insane. And we had an Italian reconnaissance plane over the Baltic countries earlier today and last night. It was doing heavy reconnaissance in the Baltic countries, keeping an eye on Kaliningrad and Belarus. You can see all these loops. Absolutely insane, guys. And here we have a P-8 Poseidon that was again heavily patrolling the Baltic Sea near Kaliningrad and northern Poland. These P-8 Poseidons are sub-hunter planes, so they can detect submarines underwater. And they do that with a variety of different means. They have special sono buoys that they can drop into the water as well that emit sonar, and then that sends the data back up to the plane. And these P-8 Poseidons can also uh, use active measures to intercept a submarine. And what I mean by active is they can actually have harpoon missiles attached, and the harpoon missiles will fire down into the water and destroy the submarine that they find. Not saying that they're going to do that here, because that would cause, World War III. But the fact that they've been patrolling this area here for the past like 3 days, almost round the clock, and as we speak, there's another P-8 Poseidon on its way to the Baltic Sea. So they're basically maintaining constant surveillance of this area around the clock. They've been having like 2 P-8s per day running like 12-hour shifts and monitoring this area. So that's pretty serious. We haven't seen that much reconnaissance in this area like that before. And here we have a video of an F-35 in Scotland. Check this out. Remember, I reported about 2 weeks ago that the U.S. was moving 50 F-35s to the U.K. and also nuclear weapons. Well, I think they might have already done that. Let me play this video for you. Pretty beautiful scenery. Let's see that again. You can clearly see that that's an F-35 by the wings there. Okay, so remember, these F-35s can be used to deliver nuclear warheads. So if we moved 50 of them to the UK, that's like 50 miniature stealth bombers that NATO has right now in the UK that could be used to carry out retaliatory strikes on Russia if there were an escalation of some kind. We have some breaking news that Armenia has kicked off joint military exercises with the U.S. And this is absolutely huge, because Armenia, up until this point, was basically a Russian vassal state, just like Belarus. And Armenia was reliant on Russia for security. And now it looks like Armenia is turning away from Russia. So apparently they're doing exercises to train Armenian forces for international peacekeeping missions. And the name of the exercise is Eagle Partner 2023. Okay, and it began yesterday. So that is huge news. It looks like Russia might be losing their grip on the Caucasus. We'll have to wait and see what happens over there if this thing escalates into a war. Azerbaijan was threatening to go into Armenia recently. We also have some breaking news with regards to the economic situation here in the U.S. Household debt has risen to $17 trillion. Okay, it rose $16 billion in Q2 of 2023, and it's mostly credit card balances that went up significantly. Credit card balances saw brisk growth, rising $45 billion to a high of $1 trillion. Okay, so $1 trillion in credit card debt and $17 trillion in household debt. Okay, that is absolutely huge. And here we have this graph. And here you can see all the way to the right is where we are right now. Okay, we're at $17 trillion in household debt. This is the debt that the average homeowner has between credit cards, loans, auto loans, student loans, mortgages. Okay, this is not good, because when people have a lot of debt, They don't spend as much because they have to pay off their debt. They have massive payments that they have to pay every month. So their disposable income goes down. Number two, it increases defaults. So this is a bad sign, guys. Our economy is not doing good at all. Okay. Inflation is very high. There's a lot of layoffs. The job market is not good. But if you look at where we are today with household debt in 2023, it's higher now than even at 2008 when we had that financial crisis, okay, the subprime mortgage crisis in 2008. Um, even now, we're worse now than we were in 2008. Okay, that's really bad. Okay, really, really bad. We're like $6 or $7 trillion more now than we were in 2008. Okay, that's really bad. So this is very concerning stuff, guys. Let me read to you a little bit more details about this. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York Center for Microeconomic Data today issued its quarterly report on household debt and credit. The report shows a slight uptick in total household debt in the second quarter of 2023, increasing by $16 billion to $17 trillion. The report is based on data from the New York Fed's Nationally Representative Consumer Credit Panel. Credit card balances increased by $45 billion from $986 billion in Q1 to a series high of $1.03 trillion in Q2, marking a 4.6% quarterly increase, okay? Almost 5% increase in credit card debt. Any of you guys out there that have credit cards, be very careful when you use them because the interest rates are very high right now and you can easily bury yourself in credit card debt that will take a very long time to get out of once you're in that debt. So please do not spend too much money with your credit cards. Don't spend beyond your means too much because that interest is going to bury you and you're going to get stuck, okay? Credit card accounts expanded by 5.48 million to 578 million, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so very bad sign economically. And we currently have some tropical systems here. We have a tropical wave off the coast of Africa with an 80% chance of development. So we'll have to keep an eye on this one. And we have Hurricane Lee, which is now forecasted to impact New England. This is the latest forecast cone. It looks like it's mostly going to affect Maine and Nova Scotia, but we'll have to wait and see exactly where this thing makes landfall. It could veer off to the west a little bit and hit Cape Cod. Massive waves, beach erosion, wind. Okay. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's the latest headline that I have. Oh, and we also have breaking news that Sweden might be giving the Gripen fighter jets to Ukraine. Apparently, the government is currently evaluating whether or not it would affect Sweden's military capabilities if they transfer some of their JAS-39 Gripen fighter jets to Ukraine. So that's huge news as well. But that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I'll keep you updated. Stay tuned to my channel for continuing breaking news coverage. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you get notified of my uploads. And also, sometimes YouTube doesn't notify you when I upload. I don't know if it's a glitch or what. So make sure you periodically check my page to see if I posted anything new. I try to post at least one update per day, sometimes two or three, depending on how busy it is during the day. But that's pretty much it. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.